Today we are fabbing up the tractor hitch that I'm going to use for towing, moving trailers around the yard. The main plate that's going to hold the Cat 1 pins are 2.5 by 2.5 1/4 inch wall. I measured it, what's the normal Cat 1, 26 inches or so. And then I took this piece about 17 inches high, and we are going to put this right here on the back side. And then I'm going to have this mounted up front and welded, kind of bracing this, but also clearing the bolts. We're not going to weld that to it. We could, but I'm going to bolt it in case I want to take it off and use it for something else. This plate's pretty thick. This is a 1/2 inch plate. And then our rectangle tubing up here is 2.5 by 1.5 1/4 inch wall as well. So once I have all this metal on here, then we're using the Curt secure latch pinhole attachment, right? Normally when you buy this one, Curt has the backing plate where you pack into your truck. I bought just this front half alone, and 14,000 pound ball and 20,000 from the pinhole. And so as long as my welds are good, that's gonna mount right there. I'm gonna put it right at the front. Here are the pieces, also 1/2 inch plate, that are gonna be on the side. And here are the 7/8 Cat 1 pins that are gonna be coming out. We're gonna drill a hole through here, put the nut and lock washer behind it, tighten it down real hard, and then stick that right in there and weld it, and that'll be permanently fixed in there. And I think this will be a very cool, very heavy duty, much heavier duty than I'm gonna buy on Amazon. Unnecessarily heavy duty for what a 60 horsepower and below tractor is gonna be pulling around just to move. So let's keep going. All right, I got the main T welded up here. The back, the two sides, and the back were the most important. The top was kind of like this, cleaned and beveled. Same with the bottom plate. Not the prettiest weld, but it's definitely gonna hold. This is the 1/4 inch to the 1/4 inch, correct? And I tacked the 4 corners and then went across. Now I did this front side first, which actually might be the best part, which is unfortunate because it's really hard to, once you make a mistake with flux, whatever, I'm a very beginner, so take that, everything welding, don't learn any welding lessons from me if you're watching this. But I need to take a grinder and grind this off so I can fit my hitch plate like you showed at the beginning of the video, because obviously we want that to sit flush. And right now the settings I'm using on my S welder, 1/4 inch, 190 amp and 24 volt. For me being this my second piece that I've built. I built this trailer, still working on a spoiler down there on the ground, and then this is my second piece that I've built. This was with MIG gas, and that spoiler was with flux, and then this is the first piece with my machine, the DP200 from Yes Welder. I'm pretty, it's not pretty, but it's acceptable to me for this, especially once I have this front plate and all the support that this main pipe is going to get. So let's grind this up. After grindage on the front is the plate, and that's beveled all 4 sides, so that's a clean, it's still welded, it's just I welded it flush. Notice that I drill my holes, and this is a 1/2 inch, so we'll see if my welder can do that. But drill my holes, weld, giant weld out front, and that'll help support this tall piece. Light, power, 3 inches of travel. All right, we did some measuring with the paint marker, and we kind of got our bolt holes lined up on our plate. Coming over here to the drill press, we already did one, and we're trying to get it right on that white dot on each one. And hopefully I do it perfect, and this old Chicago Tool Corp Cummins 1980 drill press is still kicking it and doing just fine. We're using some of this right here. We're using some of this great tapping fluid, but you can also use it for drilling. It's going to help keep the heat down and make everything go smooth. That cuts real nice with that tapping fluid. All right, we got our plate done, and I don't know what setting my drill pressure's on. Apparently it's got 5 speeds. You know, I don't know if that's the one that makes torque or the one that doesn't make torque. I don't see a chart or anything on it, so but it cut this very nicely, and let's see how close I ended up being. Now it's a little bit more difficult because I couldn't get the first one in, get the second one in, and then use the drill press for the rest. I kind of had to measure it, mark it, take it over there, hope they were all straight. Let's see, so let's get the one in. All right, so this one's in. These two are perfect. Come over to the right side. That one might need, I move it up a hair. Oh, there it is. Yes, sir. They'll all get a bolt slid through them, so that's all that matters. Not perfect, but just a hair off on one. 3 out of 4 I got right on the money. And that 4th one is gonna have to be just a hair cocked. Just a hair, but it should all, they'll be able to get in there and they'll all be snug. That's the important part. So we'll be using 1/2-inch bolts that are stainless steel, never to rust. I won't be using a 3-inch one, but I have shorter ones. And we'll have a lock washer and a nut on the back. All right, next part, we are going to weld this up now that the holes are drilled. That is ready to be welded on. So we need to take this back off, grind our corners on all surfaces that will take any force. This is probably the most important piece that I'm, either first or second most important piece that I'm welding probably on this, because this is these welds will bear the brunt of whatever trailers that being pulled with this, especially if it's a heavy one. We got to get it right, and this one's, if I do it wrong, this one's worth grinding off and trying again. Everything's gonna be 1/4 inch, and we got 1/2-inch plate here, so with a good weld, strength is not going to be a concern on whatever a tractor this size can pull. All right, this is where I'm sitting at right now. I got these 2 pieces waiting to dry so I can grind this edge again, clean that up. But the inside screws are going to be painted to factory match. They're going to be welded right here on the end with obviously the pins sticking out like that, right? And then I've got the main plate, base plate for the trailer being welded now, or for the receiver, or not the receiver. I got the main piece for that, where that's going to bolt to. We've got a top pass on there, and then I got the sides 2 tacked. Now we're going to make probably the most important pass, the one across the bottom, and then we'll go across the back and maybe a little bit towards the top and the bottom, maybe the middle, but we'll get a little, for sure the bottom and somewhere up and down the top. I don't want to get too close in case it splatters into the bolt holes, but this will be nice. and this will be on there very solid. And once that and that's on there, we can start adding the side pieces. All right, we got the main plate on there. Not too bad up top. Started off real strong, but then right about here, I my guide hand was starting to catch fire, even through the glove, and I had to let off and start over again. But otherwise, the pass wasn't looking too bad up until that point. The back's pretty rough, but I got a good on the bottom there, and I kind of turned the corner up top. I tried to get a portion in the middle. That didn't really work out. For whatever reason, it just splattered a ton. This is at full 200 amps on the Yes Welder. And this side, I guess it wasn't clean enough. It just didn't work out at all, the middle part. And what I've learned with flux core is you don't get more than maybe 2 chances. I mean, the first chance is your best, do it right. But if you try to correct and add to it like you did on MIG with gas, I haven't figured this out yet. So this table was built with MIG with gas, and if you made a mistake, it wasn't that hard to go in and fill in. But for whatever reason with the flux core, I'm struggling a little bit. Down here went pretty well. But yeah, so the main passes that are important that I think I did all right on, top one, bottom one, and then either side right here on the back. I think those are what's gonna hold her in place when there's weight on it from the trailer. This one was really important too, and it looks like it's gonna hold as well. And I beveled all the edges for everything. It should hold. I would like to get a nice pass going up there to hold out the water. I really can't do that though, due to me trying to use nuts and bolts on the backside. So I need, I can't have a weld bead sticking out too far. If I was able to fill it in nicely and then grind her down so that it fits the 2 nuts on the back, I guess that'd work. But I think next time I really need to switch to MIG with gas to make something like this a little bit easier, because it was just a lot of puddles and a lot of but if there was no splatter, I would definitely try to make a really solid pass going all the way through, just to fill it in for water resistance and no rust in the future. But I guess I'll have to try to fill that with primer and paint instead. So it doesn't look the best from the backside, but once this is on a tractor, nobody's going to see the backside too much. Improving. Those are sellable welds right there. And good time to finally figure it out, because that's a pretty important weld too. Status update. I've got the 2 tops. I just used a little bit of a quarter diamond plate that I had sitting around. They're not the right shape, but I welded 2 sides, and then I'm just going to take the grinder and grind the 2 sides flush, and then weld up those 4 corners so they'll be smooth. I am having trouble with, I don't know if just this is not a good thing to use flux for, but obviously flux has all the splatter. You know, I can only get a grinder in so many places before because my welds aren't bad for the most part. It's just the splatter makes everything look worse. So I'm not going to be able to clean up all this fully just because I used flux. Maybe make gas or stick I need to get familiar with. So what I did, here's my bar that I'm going to use for the tractor weights. So I should be able to fit, I'm thinking 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking 3 per side. So if they're 100-pound weights, that's 600 pounds. That should be helpful for sure for ballast. I don't have anything that I can think of to put on top of here. This is my hitch, right? So that's gonna bolt right through there. And that'll be my 2-inch ball, my pintle, which for the most part, this trailer is only gonna be moving the bigger stuff. I've yet to decide if I'm gonna stick a little receiver underneath it or not. And that's only purpose is really so I can put a little 2-inch hitch in there, just in case I need to actually move a 2-inch, or I can use one of those ripper plow things you see on Amazon. I could buy one of those and use that with this. Not undecided yet, because this is going to do everything I need it to do for the time being. I got these for the trailer. Anytime I'm moving a trailer, This will be the chains. I got this just for a general pull. However, in hindsight, I probably should have put it on this bottom main bar. It'd probably be a stronger location to pull from, as if you look at this straight on, it did get pulled forward just from the heat a little bit. So, because I put everything this and this all on the front, so it did get pulled a little bit forward. So I don't know how strong that surface is going to be, as it's pretty much just this back weld holding it from, you know, coming forward. Maybe I should put another bar here across the back. I don't want to, but actually, now that I think about it, just for safety, I probably should put one on the back side of this and run it the whole width as well. But everything's bolted up. I have good welds on the main pieces right there. Remember, these are 1/2-inch plate, just like this. So the two main parts holding weight here have very thick steel. The steel itself will never break at that point, but I need to fab up. I need to finish these pieces. Get good welds. I gotta grind the finish. This side I screwed up horribly. I think it's because I tried to push this puddle, and flux and pushing does not work. So that's gonna have to be mostly grinded away and redone. My welds on the D-rings actually went really well. Looks like a couple of spots back there that didn't go well, but for the most part, the D-ring stuff is looking pretty decent. The only thing that I've messed up that I can see that's like irreversible mess up is that I didn't have this back part braced when I welded these fronts, and they moved the whole post just it's angled just a little bit forward. If you look, see that? Just a little bit. And I should have had something back here holding it down. My mistake. Next time I'll do it better. So, and also next time, I don't know if I'll have such a large D-ring on this part. Now the good news is, for all the things pushing forward, I've got this stopping it and this stopping it. So, you know, as long as this weld holds, it might be pretty sturdy of a mount section once it's hooked up in the 3-point. So that's where we're at right now today. I've got some angle. I've got a little piece of channel that I'm gonna probably use for my 2 pieces coming back for my 3-point, the top link. And then I still have to put the gooseneck ball on top. All right, we're getting near done. There was a little bit of welding distortion on the plate when I did this one, because you can see this one's just a hair It's just a hair vertical compared to that one. But it's gonna hold, so I still gotta grind off the tops, haven't done it yet, but I finished the top part, or almost finished. I finished the part that makes it usable, so I'm still gonna be grinding, putting a 1/4-inch just plate, and that's kind of how I really secured this little bit of C-channel. Right, and we got some decent welds on here actually. So this will mostly be grounded down perfectly flush. Those are pretty important welds, got those decent. These aren't the prettiest, but they're on there for sure. That one's not bad. And then I tried to get as best I could on either side, and they're stuck. I don't want to say they're great, but they're stuck. And I feel pretty confident that this is going to handle the top link without any troubles. So what do I have to do left to do? Top plate, and then the gooseneck ball, and then grind these perfectly flush. Only one more thing to add, and after that it's just clean up, grinding, and paint. And but right now, as it sits right now, I could bolt my hitch to this, and this is a usable piece. I gotta find the gooseneck ball. I have no idea where it went. I still need to add a grab hook. I tried there. It didn't work out. All right, this is my current stage. All right, this is gonna hold. It's gonna hold an empty trailer without question. This is pretty much 2, sometimes 3 passes over it in certain spots. Really, my only decent spot was back here, and I covered it up on the second layer. Started out welding this in 1/4 inch, which is what this plate is, and I went up to 3/8, which is maxing the machine at 200 amps. And that is what I should have done on the first pass all the way around, because that one little section that I did, about 1/4 of it over here, was bare, like the first weld, and I did it at 200 the first time, and it was great. It looked good. I'm gonna take the grinder. We're pretty much done here. I'm gonna put a little plate in the front to kind of cover this up a little bit. I've got this little guy, and we're just gonna stick it. We're just gonna stick it like right there and kind of cover up that front section a little bit. And then once this is on, it's time for a final cleanup, and then I can paint it. But I'm a little disappointed how it's kind of like your crown weld of this project is your gooseneck ball. And even after, once I start grinding it, you know, it's gonna be pretty obvious that it's grinded and not welded. So everybody knows you messed up at that point. But let's go all the way around here. This backside is where I actually had a little bit of an okay weld. As it came forward, I was doing pass over pass, and yeah, it didn't work out. But fortunately, I'm not selling this piece. Before I sell these, I guess I got to practice this particular weld right here. Gooseneck ball to plate. It's holding position, and everything is tough. All right, quick status. All right, I put on a front plate here just to kind of cover up the mess. And I'll kind of grind that square so it looks like it was all one piece. With flux, man, I guess this is what it is. You know, beginner welder here, maybe it's my fault, but, or maybe there's a product. I've heard there's an anti-splatter spray. I wonder if that works well or not, but I think if I had done this with MIG and there was no splatter anywhere, it wouldn't look half bad. But I finally got those de-riggings on. The first pass going down one side, it is what it takes to actually heat up one of those. At least that's what it was with my welder. But once they were heated up, you know, it was good. So fortunately, that's going to be spray painted as is, and all those bubbles and probably going to start rusting in the future. It's because there won't be paint on them, and as the little balls fall off, you know. But I did the best I can to clean it up after each one. And all right, so the next time you see this, it will be ready for paint. And this is the finished product. This was painted in Tech Gray 85 from AGCO, and it's the same gray that comes on a modern Massey right about there. And it's a nice gray. It's not too dark, not too bright. It kind of accents my bad welds, but it does. If this was real crisp welding, it's a nice color. So I just sprayed everything, and now I'm gonna put it on the tractor. I'm gonna spray the very bottom going across, and then bolt that on. All right, guys. So this is it. We have it done. Everything is connected as it's supposed to be. We're gonna try using the ball right here just to make sure it can move this 10K Hillcrest right here. And but this is it. This is gonna be the new hitch for every Cat 1 tractor I own probably the rest of my life. So here we go. Look at that, we are hooked up. So I am calling this project completed, and we are ready to use the tractor to move this around the yard.